Once he goes straight to million, soul and other nonsense. He is today.
Heaven or hell? Duel. One. Let's rock. Duel. Let's rock. Please select your character. Heaven or hell? Duel. One. Let's rock. Counter.
Guys, the microphone has been set 0 the entire time. Weird. Okay. Apparently no one was Richard couldn't hear me, so should be able to hear me now. Well, it's fine. I'm gonna turn down the sound audio now. It's a bit loud. You can't hear me. So all this time we've been talking, but no one's been able to hear us. That's pretty good. Okay, so a bunch of stuff I said earlier, which is relevant to the match, wasn't heard. I'm gonna crank this up. Okay, now mic should be at 100. I don't know if it's too loud or not. Wow, it might be picking up background sound now. Oh, okay, good. I'm still gonna turn it down just a touch to about 85. Okay. So I think this is 3-0 now. I haven't been keep attention. I've been trying to fix the sound, but I'm gonna get this going up in a bit. I should believe it's 3-0. Okay, so Millie's poisoned. Oh, couldn't take the opportunity to capitalize on that. Testman's trying to keep this match neutral. Millie is in now, though. Oh, nice warrant. Now it's Testman's turn to do some mix-up. To a knockdown, does Marvel mix-up, but bursts. Pretty good. Oh, here we go. Nice. Hello, screen. So since you guys didn't hear me earlier, I'm the Order Soul player, Raptor IC, doing commentary for you now. Looks like Teyah is setting up some Oki. This should go into a hard knockdown. It's going to get, yep, into a hard knockdown. Does it again, but this time with Secret Garden instead of notes, or not notes, disc. Hard knockdown, another Secret Garden. But there's no time for Testament. For Testament, just a regular jump out of that. The IIC is an old reference, Kamano. I got Raptor from a really old DOS game called Raptor Call the Shadows, and lo and behold, it was taken on the internet. And I was like, oh, you know, I love MechWarrior, so I'll take the IIC from that. It just means Mark II Clan. So I used to be a huge MechWarrior fan. Oh, is that 4-0? 4-0? It must be 4. I thought I lost track, but I'm... Is it 3 now? Okay, so I kind of jumped the gun there. It's 3-0. Yes, Raptors and robots and stuff. So, there's someone asked a question earlier. If Street 11 plays this game. He does, actually. He is the local Tokido. He can play every fighting game at a high level. I think he is the best Street Fighter player in the city. He was on Team Canada Cup. They got 3rd. They wrecked Team USA. Chirithia wrecked Team USA, to be fair. But he also plays Guilty Gear, and he's getting there. These are solid players. Fundamentals apply everywhere. Back to the match. Looks like Millie's going to take match 1. Yep. That's match 1. Round 1, sorry. Okay. Okay, meaty 6P. Some ADC combos. Should be able to convert into a hard knockdown. Yep, using some meter. There's the Oki. Well, standing jab Oki. Not enough time. Nope, no tick throws for you. Testament's going to set up. Oh, maybe not. Here you go. So, puts her into the corner. Allows him to set up some... Oh, no. Oh, that was a good burst bait. Wow. That should go into hard knockdown. What? Oh. Wow. We got some Enotech up in here. Okay. That is 4-0 Teyah. You guys missed commentary earlier. So, what we do here in Calgary is every week, any player in our scene steps up and does what we call the Elite Four Gauntlets. So, if you remember the original Pokemon Red and Blue, it's 4 enemies and then Gary motherfucking Oak. So it's actually 5 players. And you do first to 10s. The first one we had was No Limits. It's one of the new guys. He ran his 5 times first to 10s, and I think he lost 4 out of 5. So what URL is doing tonight is his first to 5. Sorry, his first to 10 times 5. This is his 4th matchup. It's Teyah. You may know him as the Amelia and Eddie Op, or moderator at the Destiny.com boards. Moderator as in character selection area, or character strats, not dumbass shit like story and other faggy weeaboo shit. Yes, also known as the main girl in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. More useful than Tristan. So, just getting back to this. So yeah, like I said, it's the thing we do locally here. One person in our scene does a first to 10, 5 people, Elite 4 gauntlets. Victory Road, I think it was called, I can't remember. It's been 15 years. But this is number 4, so I think his first one against Rekna, local ABA player, I think he won 10-7. Note that Rekna has not played +R yet and was using HC strats, so still, legit 10-7 win. His second match was with Haruka Kuma, where he won 10-8, squeaked out that win. Third match was against me, where I won 10-0, he's playing Order Soul. And now, it's 5-0 for Teyah versus URL, but he chose some of the strongest players to do his first to 10, which is pretty commendable. Teyah is pretty much the best player locally, and just based on tournament rankings, I always rank second. So he put the first and second best players locally on his first to 10s, which is pretty legit. There's no better way to get stronger than to play the best players in your scene, right? Well, within reason. If you don't know the game, playing the best players don't do shit. You know what I would do, Kamano? I wouldn't do, don't do first to 10s immediately. I mean, it's taken a while for us to grow our scene like this. What I would do is have one station, which is quote-unquote the challenge station, and just do first to 3s. And let's say if you're the best player locally, and you run a win against all your local players, once you've done a complete circuit, get off. Just say, you know what? It's fair, right? I've beat every player locally. It kind of gives them an incentive to get better. But then, at the same time, let them play each other. So do first to 3s. If you manage to run the entire scene, then just get off and say, hey, now it's your turn. And then just go wander off and play some other games in the meantime. Gives them some motivation to do things. We do that at the public scene. I mean, right now we're at someone's house, obviously. But on Thursdays, when we go to the public scene, we have 2 to 3 stations that are just for people to sit down and play, whether it's our scene or, quote-unquote new guys. And then we save one setup for quote-unquote OG matches. So like I said, people just sit there. That's when you get in line, old school style, and you say, well, let's do a first to 3. If I've lost, I'll get off, get back in line. Like I said, the guy who runs, if you manage to run through everybody, just get off and say, all right, well, I did a complete circuit. It's a good way to promote your scene. And especially, like, it doesn't isolate people, too, because anyone can try for that first to 3. And once they've lost, they can just sit down in the casual station. But that kind of gives you an incentive at the same time in a casual to say, hey, there is a goal. Even though it's casual, it's very, very relaxed. There is kind of a goal here. It's a fun goal. No money's on the line. Just, a little bit of pride, right? When you say, well, I've run a first to 3 through everyone in the scene, they say, well, maybe I should get better. And Teyah's done that to us before. I mean, we've had everyone, like the top players in our group, have done that first 3 gauntlets. With the entire scene, they've run through everybody, and they get off, right? I mean, that's the same thing. It's pretty fair. It's pretty cool. Just soft ways to push your scene without making anyone upset or mad or anything like that, right? And then once you develop the scene like that and everyone gets to a competent level, you can kind of start doing these victory road events, And what we've done locally is, it hasn't happened yet because someone's always lost, is since we have 5 players, if you manage to clean sweep all 5 players, you'll get a $25 bonus. Nothing too big, right? It's just a nice, good work, you manage to wreck everybody. And if all 5 players wreck the first to 10 Gauntlet Runner, they each get the $5. So I mean, it's nothing big, $5, but you know, it's a good way to reward people for playing well / poorly. That's a really cool idea. Just like soft things to push your scene. I mean, motivation to get better should always be the #1 drive, but sometimes, you know, you need a little bit of incentive to get there. I played AC in the arcade, so my motivation is to not lose my money. But if you got a console thing like this, it's mostly pride and, like I said, some soft, just a couple things here and there to get people motivated. I mean, some people will play and then get discouraged, but they shouldn't. Especially, like I said, URL especially, he chose... Rekna was among the strong players. He was among the top 3 back during the AC days. He hasn't played +R much, so I mean, his AC tactics only take him so far. But he still managed to do 10-7. But like I said, URL chose the best player, the second best player, and a bunch of other strong players to do his first 10s with. So I mean, he's obviously he's not even caring about the money. He just wants to get better. I mean, I think everyone here is a student of the game, and we have some great players here. Like I said, we have Teyah, we have Street 11, who is he's the local Tokido, right? He can play every fucking game at a high level. His Guilty Gear is really good. Like, it's only been 1 or 2 months, and he has already taken matches off the OGs. So it's really great. What did you say? Oh yeah. I think it's hard to get into a game without being, especially like as cliche as it is to say an old game like Guilty Gear, and that's 7. I'm going to increment the score counter. It's like, yeah, Guilty Gear is kind of hard to get into because it is the father of anime games, right? It's like people saying, well, you know, it's easy to get into SF4. Be that as it may, you know, as much as I rag on SF4, there's still a lot of hard things to do. There's still a lot of hard things in SF4. But it's okay. This is the grandfather of anime games, but you know what I think? I think if you can get them playing any anime game, excluding Marvel, you can apply your anime fundamentals anywhere. Like, there's a couple guys at our local public scene. This is obviously just the Guilty Gear scene, but the local public non-Capcom fighting scene. They play a lot of anime games, BB, Persona, those kind of games. And some of them, I've actually seen 2 or 3 of them try to get into Guilty Gear locally because we have the largest... Our scene's at times bigger than the Capcom scene here. There's a lot of OGs who play Guilty Gear. And not to distract from what I said, but a lot of people play anime games, especially games like Persona. Persona teaches you the offensive basics of Guilty Gear. And BB, the new BB, I don't know about the old ones. Those ones are still a little bit slow, but CP, at least from what I've seen, the defensive game is it's closer to Guilty Gear than it used to be. Like, there's no more just air dashing in and, you know, hitting your best normal. There's a lot of respecting people's options now in CP from what I've seen. So, I mean, if you know the BB scene and they start playing CP, I think you should be able to make that transition back and forth. So there's a lot of options getting that local scene expanded. And honestly, let's be real here. Once XR comes out, rest in peace all other ArcSys anime games. It's gonna be XR all the way. But yeah, I think that's good, Kamado, because I think your mentality is you've got the mentality of someone who wants to go to tournaments. You do go to tournaments, so you have that feel. But you know, I was the same way. I came from the KOF/Capcom community, so the SK Capcom community. First time I played Guilty Gear, I was like, well, hey, it's anime. You know, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna try it out. Oh, air dashes and shit. I do not understand this fucking game. But again, motivation at the arcades, and just motivation to be better than other people. Yeah, let me commit the score here. It's 8-0. Motivation to get better than other people, right? That really is good. I mean, it's a personal thing for me not to be the worst, or even like middle things I do, right? Whether it's video games or life or whatever. But that's just me. Everyone has to find their motivation, and you know, I think, like I said, some friendly pushes from you, especially if it seems like you're leading your scene. So, you know, try these things. You know, first the 3 station, give people a goal to work towards, and then, you know, once your scene gets a bit healthier and everyone gets a bit more competent playing, start doing these, you know, Victory Road first to 10 gauntlets. It's really cool. I think it's great that we started doing this. Actually, No Limits came up with the idea because he hit that point where he's like, how can I get better? Like, it was frustrating. I could actually see it, right? And once he did the first 10, I mean, he got burnt out for Guilty Gear for a week, but now when I play him, it's, you know, you see that he's learned things from these first 10s. You go back, you watch these archives, they're really good. And even me, I played URL 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't a 10-0 stomp out. We did just some casuals, and I think I never got past 6 or 7 wins. And just because, you know, trying things out, learning things about ACR Testament, that kind of thing, right? It all paid off today, 10-0. Didn't let any of that shit happen. But that's the great part, right? Just get people, you just find 1 or 2 people motivated, play the game well, and the scene will eventually follow along. Especially, you know, it's hard to recruit brand new players because fighting games, there's a bit of a learning curve, much more so than, say, StarCraft, League, you know, those kind of games, because there's execution in those, well, there's execution in, like, StarCraft and stuff. Okay, you know, I'll just say, there's execution in all these games, but the execution in fighting games is still among the highest, because it's it punishes you for being just a frame early or a frame late, especially in games like Guilty Gear, SF4, that kind of thing. So, I mean, if you can find someone who gets really motivated, you'll really... It's 9. No, because, yeah, I started at 5 and went to 15. This would be 10. You're good, but you're not that good. But, yeah, no. Like I said, you seem like the leader in your community, so find, like, these... It's a good way to prod people into getting into playing without, you know, just shoving it down their throat. Because, I mean, there's times where I've seen other people in the scenes, I mean, it's all good intentions. They want to teach people and say, hey, you know, this is what you want to do to beat this and that. But sometimes it's a lot of information to eat at the same time, especially if you're not a tournament player. Like, I mean, most our scene partakes in tournaments. We've been to EVO, you know, that kind of thing. We travel for tournaments. So it's easy to talk to someone who has that mentality and say, why aren't you doing this? This is how you punish that. But when you go to a public thing like what I'll call our casual meets with just random people at the university, it's hard for someone to stomach that once. But if, like I said, if you can find ways, soft ways to prod your community just slowly, right? Like I said, the first to 3 thing is really cool. It's really cool to get people, just like these small motivational things. It adds up. Because, I mean, what I would do, honestly, if you got some time, what I would do is find the old AC combo videos, and while, you know, like I said, while people are doing first to 3s or something, just chat with some of the guys and be like, you know, if you know a guy plays Venom, show him some of those NO combos. Like, yo, check this out. I mean, obviously this is AC, and this is what it was back in the day, but look, check how sweet this stuff is, right? And they'll be like, wow. And that is 10-0. That is 10-0. So you got your Gary motherfucking Oak next, which is Steve. Go get Steve. But yeah, that kind of thing, right? Show him some combo videos, be like, hey, check this out, this is really cool, that kind of thing. And yeah, like I said, because you are the leader in your scene, you can do these kind of things to get people motivated. That's good. So up next against URL is Mr. S. Nguyen, an 07er. He plays Dizzy, so Kamano will probably be able to enjoy some of this play.